Hello, YouTube. How you doing? It's me, Miss J, and here I am once again in the lovely Champagne Dreams Productions home office in the Mama Champagne Rose Room. How are we doing? How is your Friday night going? Welcome to the weekend, the freaking weekend. How are we doing? I am. How am I doing? That's a loaded question. My hair is not doing well. My hair is not happy. I've been so busy with things and I have not had a chance to dye it so I can get it cut. My show opens February 12th, so I got to hurry up. Hello, Alex. How's it going? So that I can have a haircut for the show. Yeah, I'll have to see. I thought I had bought an extra set of hair dye, so maybe I don't have to go to Walmart. We'll have to see. Hello, how are we doing? I am. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to talk about it. Oh, you've had a terrible week. I hear you. I absolutely hear you. So I don't talk a lot about my job, my like big kid job very often. And that's just because this is very different from what I do during the day. I mean, it's not that different in that my job is editing video. And then I do videos on the internet, but so I don't talk a lot about where I'm from, but I think where I'm from, where I work, and but I think you'll know when I talk about this. So you may have heard a little story about a tech company laying off 16,000 people. You may have heard that little tidbit in the news. You may have heard, and so yeah, so that's where I work. So it's been a week. I did not get laid off, but I am on a very small team. My team was 5 people, and 2 of our people got laid off, including our team manager. So we lost 40% of our team, and one of them was our manager. And so we're trying to like scramble and figure out how to keep things running because that we do a lot of the like we do the work, right? Like we make the videos, we do all that kind of stuff, and he did a lot of the admin stuff to like get things ready. And yeah, so it's been a wild week. It's been an emotional, strange sort of week. I'm still dealing with the stolen debit card. I've not gotten my money back from that, but it was payday, so that was nice. I did get paid, and so I was like, I'm gonna have a little treat. I'm just gonna give myself a little treat. We're gonna go to Ulta. I had some points like built up, and so I was like, let's spend some points. Let's spend a little money because I'm still dealing with all that debit card stuff and the money that got stolen out of my account, and then these layoffs, and now we're switching teams, and so then today it's good because it's very proactive, but then like apparently my new manager loves an Outlook request, so like I got request after request after request after request. And so I think it's going to be good, and I've heard good things about the woman whose team we're joining. So I'm looking forward to that, and we're actually going to have a slightly bigger team now, so there's going to be other people that we have worked with. Hello, CJ. How's it going? And so I think it's in the long run going to be good, but it's certainly a big shakeup. It's been a lot of like chaos at work. There were people all over the organization that were impacted. A lot of people that I know got impacted. A lot of people that I know from my old site. So I live in North Dakota, and we used to have a physical site that closed down a few years ago, and I've been virtual ever since. And a lot of the people that I worked with have been virtual. And it seems like they really kind of targeted virtual people, especially in certain areas. So a lot of the people that I knew from that I worked with that were still around working virtually have all been laid off. So that is definitely a concern. But so I was like, you know what? Let's go buy myself some things at Ulta. Let's go have a little fun little Ulta trip. And then also I had rehearsal tonight. So my show is going really well. I think next week they built a couple of the set pieces today, and so we had a couple of the set pieces ready, and then we are going to, yes, absolutely, shop therapy. I love to shop my emotions and eat my emotions. So I was like, let's do some shopping. But my show opens on the 12th, and they built a couple of the set pieces, and they're building more next week so that we can get ready. Next week is kind of our tech week, because then the week after we open on Thursday. And so we're getting everything ready. We're starting to gather all the props. We're getting all the costumes. It's really starting to come together. So I think next week I'm going to try to do some lives where we maybe talk to some of the cast. And once more of the set pieces are built, I'll maybe give you a little like stage tour to kind of show you, hey, Dion, how's it going? So we'll show you a little stage tour so that you can see what's going on. And yeah, so we'll do some show content. It's called The Nut Lab. It's written by the woman who is the artistic director at the Empire Theater, Empire Arts Center. I don't think that's her exact title, but I always get it wrong. But so yeah, so she does the like theater artistic side, and then there's somebody who's like the executive director that does the like bookkeeping side management. So she wrote this. She's a playwright, and it's really fun. We've got 9 fantastic actors. It's just kind of a fun, quirky, zany little show. And we are not taking it very seriously. I love a stylized production, so we've got lots of fun costume choices. Angie is painting some pieces for us, including a turtle with a face that looks like Tom Hanks, which is just... That's what I love to do with this. And I love that Kathy has been so willing to like let us just be weird and silly with her play. Because she has this line where this guy's like remembering where he was surfing and he gets hit on the head and he has this like hallucination. And he says that he imagines seeing a turtle that looks like it's got Tom Hanks' face. So I was like, Angie, can you make me a 4-foot cardboard turtle that looks like it has Tom Hanks' face? And she was like, on it. So we're getting some really fun little prop pieces and set pieces, and I just think it's going to be a fun little show. And yeah, we'll try to give you some little behind the scenes peeks starting next week. Very exciting. But let's go ahead and let's look at some of the things that I picked up at Ulta. Let me also change from top chat to all messages just in case. Let me try to scan and see if there's anything that I missed. I don't think so. People just saying hello. Love that. So it's mostly brushes. I went on a little bit of a brush bender, but I did get a lipstick. I decided I've been getting back into my MAC phase, and so I picked up one of the Maximal matte lipsticks. These are the Silky Matte, and this is a shade that I remember from back in the day. I don't think I have a vintage one of these, and I don't know how much the color has changed, but this is the shade Folio, and it's this like cool tone. And like a lot of things, like MAC's Spice liner is no longer cool tone. It used to be a really cool tone liner, and now they've got Cool Spice, which is still not as cool as the original Spice liner. But this is one of the lipsticks that has stayed pretty cool. Very cool. Pretty girl. Very cool toned. And so we're going to go ahead and swatch a little bit of that crazy. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Just a nice, like, medium, cool tone, neutral brown, which I think is very, very fun. So I've been wanting to get back into MAC products, and especially MAC lipsticks. So I was like, you know what, let's get a lipstick. But then as I was walking around, I couldn't just stick with the lipstick, so we had to do some brushes. I just happen to have makeup wipes sitting over here from when I de-dragged after the last show. So let me grab a makeup wipe so I can take this off. The rest of this, like I said, is all brushes. I went on a little bit of a brush bender. I remembered that I had about $50 in points. So that's why I decided to go ahead and pick these up, because these were on a display. They didn't have a price on them. I think they were marked down because I think they were cheaper than I remember them being regular price. But they weren't like half off or anything crazy. Hello, Dawn. How's it going? I picked up the 2 It Cosmetics brushes from the newest Wicked movie, because I did get the 2 brushes from the first Wicked movie that It Cosmetics did. And so then they did 2 more. And I do like It Cosmetics face brushes. I don't even know if they do eye brushes. I haven't tried any eye brushes, but I really do like their face brushes. So I decided to pick up the Glinda and the Elphaba face brushes. So the Glinda, does it say? It says turn upside down. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. This is limited edition foundation brush. The new Wicked palette. Is that the do you mean the one from REM Beauty? The one that's kind of like swampy green. I'm very interested. I picked up some of the other REM Beauty things, but I haven't picked up that big palette, but I'm definitely, it's on my list. It's kind of something that I'm looking at, but there's been so many like big releases that are on my list that I have to wait until I get this whole debit card thing figured out. And I also will get paid for the show this month, and my tax return is coming, and I have a bonus time from work since I still have a job. So the end of February will be much richer than the early part of February. So it's on my list, but there's so many Valentine's releases, so we shall see. But here is the It Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Foundation Brush, and you can see it's got all kinds of little like fun little starbursts, pink glitter, and then it's got this kind of ombre pink purple, and these are really soft. I love this. Yes, I needed some Soothe shopping today. I absolutely did. I was like, by the time we at the end of the day, I was just like so done with it and so like overwhelmed that I was just like, you know what? Let's get us some goodies. Let's get us some goodies. So then we have the Elphaba brush. So here is the packaging again. Let's see. And this is a limited edition foundation brush as well. I think it's a different shape though. Yes. Oh, so this is one of those. They have, It Cosmetics has these like kind of triangle shaped foundation brushes. I'm very interested. So what does this one say? So the other one, what did that say? Blurring. So the Glinda one is an airbrush blurring foundation brush. This one is airbrush full coverage complexion brush. Okay. So this has the kind of, this is very It Cosmetics. I feel like I've had other ones that are this shape, this kind of triangle, but here is, I always forget where the camera is. How cute is that? Ah, there we go. Very cool. So I like these. These are, there are brushes that I buy for utility, like my Singe brushes. I love Singe brushes. If I'm feeling a little bit rich and there's nothing else that I've got my eye on, sometimes I'll just buy an extra brush or two from Singe Beauty, like my favorite of the eye brushes. Or if I'm feeling real fancy, I might get the eye brush set. Like I love having doubles and like multiples of those Singe brushes because I just love how they work. I know they're great. And then, but sometimes I just want a pretty brush, and I know that these are going to work so that it's not just pretty. Like the Mandy makeup, that Wado potato, if you remember the cat's paw brush, the brush that looks like it's got the toe beans in it, that's just for fun. But that's like a cheap, like $10 brush, but it's just so cute that I'm going to keep it just for the brush. These are ones that I can buy because they're cute and they're fun, but I know they're going to be very like useful. They're going to have a fabulous. I have some of that from Bella Beauté Bar, the liquid inside. Ooh, I haven't gotten any brushes from Bella Beauté Bar. I always think of their palettes, and then everything else on there is kind of like secondary for me, but I like their stuff. Can we talk about Bella Beauté Bar constantly coming from my neck? They just put out that Pinky Promise palette, and they've already announced a new palette, Dead Roses 2, and I'm just like, can you let me breathe for 2 seconds? Please, please, can we do that? And then I got some more Morphe stuff, so I was just in the mood. I've just been in a Morphe brush mood, and Joe was so lovely for my birthday to send me those Morphe brushes, and I love it. And they've got this new buttery blends. I bought one of these sets, and again, these are foundation brushes because I feel like I've been doing a good job of like stocking up on my eye brushes and things. Foundation brushes, blush brushes, bronzer brushes, those I have less like multiples, and I have less just in general. And so I was like, you know what? I like these. I like this yellow color. And then I also got this little set, this buttery blends. This is a sponge, and then this powder puff. I need more powder puffs. I've been doing more with powder. I've been playing more with powder. And every time I'm looking for a little puff like this, I can never find one. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Bella Beauté, multiple brushes are a must. Absolutely. They're pushing it like ColourPop used to. Yeah, Bella Beauté Bar is on it with all these releases. We don't have one brush set. We have 18 brush sets. That part. Absolutely. Good old Bella Beauty bar. I still want unoriginal nudes. I have unoriginal nudes, and I do like it. I think it's really pretty. Let me go ahead and bust into this Morphe. This butter yellow. I just think it's so cute. Yes, Dion, most of mine, not you. I use all of my brushes because I am a lazy brush washer. So I will like let brushes get dirty until the last one is dirty. And then I like spend 5 hours like washing every brush that I own, which is not great, but I do that. It's not ideal, but it is what I do. So let's go ahead. Let me get all the plastic bits off of here and throw this in here. I just think, and I love the Morphe like branding and all of this stuff, I think is just really well done. I think that this glow up that they're doing to me is really successful. Blend Bunny keeps launching more. I know, and I love Blend Bunny. I haven't pre-ordered that Diablo palette yet, but it's probably going to happen. So let's take a look at these Morphe. I watch the same old few and neglect the others. Why do I buy them? I don't know. I'm a clown. I know. I also, can we talk about the fact that I own 50,000 brushes and I will do a look with 2, like an eye look with 2 brushes where I will just like keep cleaning them in a color switch. So how do they all get dirty? I don't know. I don't know because I'm so bad about also just like using the same brush over and over again. And just color switching. So this is the M133 concealer. And here you can see this is kind of a round. Oh, I never know where to put this. Okay, so kind of a round, very like dense, but not super dense. So it's got some movement to it. It's got a little bit of this for like under eye concealer, under eye powder. This would be really beautiful. I've got a couple of those little like under eye powder compacts. Like I've got the Jaclyn Cosmetics, rest in peace. I think I've still got the Makeup by Mario. And so taking one of those pressed powders and doing it with a concealer brush, lovely, lovely, lovely. Then we've got, this one is kind of an oddball. This is the M202 blush brush. And this you can see, it looks kind of like a blush brush, but do you see how it's got that like curve to it? I really like that. I wasn't sure when I first saw this. I was like, what is this about? I actually really kind of like it because we know I don't wear blush. I wear 6 blushes. And so absolutely, I love a kind of brush like this, the blush brush. Dion, message retracted. Dion, what are you saying? I'm sure you just hit the enter button too early. Alexandra, I do need to make a conscious effort to rotate. Yeah, I need to like, when I wash them, I have a very clear hierarchy. And it always starts with my Singe brushes. I do absolutely love the Singe brushes. I think they are so good. I absolutely adore them. I think that I am kind of a natural hair brush fan. Not for all of them. I think that now, and synthetic brushes have gotten a lot better, but I think that like the Singe, that synthetic is so much better than so many other synthetics. I love it. You're not a clown, Don. You're a happy hooker, clown, and troll, and we do what we do. Yes, that's the thing. It's all, this is our stuff. We can do with it what we want. We can use it how we want. We don't have to play any sort of rules. If you want to own 100 brushes, you own 100 brushes. If you want to own 2 brushes, own 2 brushes. Don't let people tell you what to do with your time, your money, your interest, your talent. Fuck them people. If they're not paying your bills, you don't pay them no mind. So just don't worry about it. Yeah, hit enter button by mistake. I know. I do that too sometimes. So let's look at the next one. We have another. This is a Morphe M244. Like I have to say Morphe. They're all Morphe. This is a powder bronzer. And this is another one. I love an angled brush like this. This is kind of like, it's weird for the angle to be this direction for me, but I love an angled brush for blush. I just feel like I can get that contour that, because I've got chubby chipmunk cheeks and I'm always trying to put some contour in there. Even when I'm doing blush, when I'm doing my bronzer, my contour, I'm always trying to like paint that a little bit thinner. And so having these angled brushes just really helps me with that. And then I can widen it out as needed. Yes, F those people. Yeah, That's the thing. Can I tell you how many times I've said something like that, Dawn? Because people will say, like, oh my God, you spend so much money on makeup. You spend so much money on makeup. How can you go and spend $70 on makeup? But these same people will go to the bar on a Saturday night and spend $70 on drinks that they won't remember drinking the next day because they drink so many of them. And so I'm like, what are you doing with your life and your money? Like, and I also recognize that I can't judge them for that. But for me, I would rather be able to say, I took my money and now I've got all these fancy things, or I've got pretty sparkly powders, or I've got lipsticks, or I've got whatever, rather than say, oh, I went to the bar and spent $70 and then pissed it away all night. Like, I would much rather, and if people like to do that, they like to do that. But then don't get mad about what I like to do. Yeah. That if I don't earn haters, I'm not doing it right. Exactly. Yeah, if people are talking about you, give them something to talk about. Absolutely. That's what I used to say. Love, yeah, I love an angled brush. And here's another one. This is the M242 cream and liquid bronzer. And so this is like a complexion set, obviously. And so this has got kind of, again, that nice angle. There's something about this that I really, really like. So I already have one set of these, but I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get a second set so that we have some duplicates of those. And then this is the first time I've tried this. I haven't tried one of these Morphe sponges yet. I do have one of their powder puffs from that Christmas set. Oh, I was going to say that Christmas set in my Get Ratchet With Me, which isn't edited yet. So you'll get to see me use that in an upcoming video. I forgot that I haven't actually edited that yet. Restaurants, bars, I have makeup the next day. I want something. Exactly. I do, and I don't mind eating out or whatever, but I don't do like fancy dinner. Can I tell you? Can we have a moment? Can we just take a moment of silence for the fact that when my dear friends, Brooklyn and Jerry, got married, it was over the weekend where I was at the pool house. So my Candy Bay calendar, that shoot that we did, that weekend that we did that, they got married and I got to perform the ceremony. Hello, Grace. How are you doing? Yeah, I want makeup and perfume and all those kinds of things. I want to have something. Yeah, when we went out, we decided, we usually, like, we go to that lake house and so we bring groceries and we do that whole thing. But then we were in St. Paul for the wedding. And then they were like, you know what? We had our wedding. Let's go out and have a fancy dinner. And so we asked, like, the woman who ran the wedding chapel, we're like, where can you get a good fancy dinner? And it was this steakhouse, and it was like surf and turf. So it was like steak and like fish and all kinds of stuff. I think there was like one pork dish. I don't think there was a single chicken dish on the menu. There was one pork dish. Everything else was like steaks and seafood. And I looked at the menu and I was like, I'm not getting out of here for less than $100. I'm just not. Like, I think you could have like maybe a salad and that would be like your. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to embrace it because I never do like fancy dinners. And so I was like, let's do it. And I ordered a steak because they had these like combo things where it was like you could pick from a list of steaks and then you could pick from a list of different seafood options. And I'm not a huge seafood fan, but I do like crab. And so they had, I picked a steak and I picked crab cakes, and it was really, really good. Now, would I do that all the time? Absolutely not. But I was like, you know what? I do understand the appeal of occasionally having a night where you go out and you spend it on like fancy drinks or fancy dinner or whatever. I can get into that, but it's never going to be my go-to. I'm always much more likely to cheap out on lunch or dinner and then go buy some makeup and play around like that. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, since this is the thing that, it's in a little pocket thing. All right. So here's our butter yellow sponge. We'll have to, I may paint a face tomorrow. I may go live. I think I'm going to go into the office just because with all the chaos, there's some things that I think didn't get done which if I didn't get it done and came in on Monday, nobody would be upset about anything because our world was in a shambles this whole week. But I think there's a couple things that I want to just make sure that I've crossed off the list before I go in on Monday and have to like meet with the new team and all that kind of stuff. And so I may go in, and so if I do, I may paint a face. So if I do, I'll play with this and see this sponge. It looks the light in here is very yellow, so it just kind of looks like a white sponge that's in the yellow light, but it is this like pale yellow that I really, really like. And then we have this cute little like silicone holder, and that holds our little powder puff. So the powder puff that I got from Joe was it a triangle or was it a diamond? I think it's a diamond. And that one was a double-sided where it had the like poofy part on one side and was almost kind of more of a rubberized, a little bit different texture. So it was dual-sided. This one has the like microfiber on both sides, but really, really cute. My mom's trying to daughter eat out every meal. I'm way too frugal with it. And I've been trying to cut back. I've been cooking a lot more. I got out my air fryer. Finally, it's been sitting there looking at me, and I don't know. I was just intimidated by it, but now that I've gotten it out, I have been frying up a storm, and I've started to I've been buying like pre-cooked stuff like chicken nuggets and fries and pizza rolls and that kind of stuff. But now I'm like, now I need to start playing with like making recipes to like make things. I saw this thing to make like dill pickle where you chop up pickles and cheddar cheese, and there was something else that you used to bind it all together and then like put it in Parmesan and then fry it in the air fryer. It sounds so good. I love pickles. I'm such a pickle whore. I love it. I love it. Oh, so there is that. So that's what we picked up. That was our little Soothe shopping trip. We did this little like 2-pack of a sponge and a poof with a little container. We got our 4-piece Morphe Butter Yellow face brush set, and then our 2 It Cosmetics Wicked, Glinda, and Elphaba brushes. And then we had to get something that was color cosmetics. So we did get the MAC lipstick in Folio. This is such a classic 90s color. I don't know that I ever had this because when I was buying MAC way back in the day, I was not much of a neutral fan. Everything I owned was red and pink and purple and all the fun colors. I didn't get into the neutrals unless it was one of the more neutral shades of like the Viva Glam, the charity lipstick. Hello, Kayla. How's it going? Love pickles. Yes, absolutely. Fries. We use it for salmon patties. I get for half off. So good. I just love crispy fries, and I have a hard time getting fries crispy in the oven. I either burn them or they're too soggy. And so this air fryer has been a wonderful excuse. Even if I cook something on the stovetop or in the oven, I still have been making fries. Like I'll just eat fries with it just so that I have an excuse to make fries in the air fryer because I do love it. That is a beautiful color. I love that. When I do play with neutrals, I love a cool neutral. I love something like that. It could even be more cool, but this kind of taupey, and this formula is so smooth. I just love it. Tater tots. I haven't made tater tots yet, but I've had an obscene amount of chicken nuggets. I mastered chicken nuggets first. This last trip, I bought some chicken strips to like mix it up. I was like, you should experiment with some different things. And then I've been looking at posts. Oh, I had some fish sticks. The first time I busted it out. The first time I ever used it, I made fish sticks, and then it's a smaller one, so I did fish sticks. And I don't know how to like mix stuff together because I know they have different cooking times. And the first couple times I'm starting to like experiment and play with the time and the temperature a little bit. But the first time I was like very rigid of I have to follow this. So I made fish sticks first, and then I made fries. So I didn't get to eat my fish and chips together, but I got to have fish and chips. So yes, an air fryer. Hello, Tanya. Nice to see you. Yes, I've been air frying up a storm lately. I have been loving it. My mom makes tartar sauce. Ooh, interesting. That's another thing, because for a while I was spending a lot of money at Crisp and Green, which if you don't know Crisp and Green, it's like, I forget what they call that, more like where it's still fast food, but it's slightly more upscale fast food. So like it's not McDonald's, but it's like Chipotle, like the upscale fast food. Crisp and Green is like that for salads. And I got obsessed with them for a while. I was eating tons of salads and I love it. And so I've been trying to cut back on going there quite as much. And I shut down my Dash Pass. I got rid of DoorDash, my membership, because it was too easy to just order salads to my office. And so I've decided I'm going to try to make some of their dressings, starting with their curry dressing. I went to Penzeys and I bought like 3 different kinds of curry just to like experiment, because they have a seasonal salad that's not in season right now that's called the Golden Hour Curry. That dressing is so good. So good. Oh. What did you get this time, Don? I leave mine on 370 in 15 minutes. Yeah, I've been staying around that because I've noticed that some of the things, it either tells me like the bag directions or whatever have either been 400 or 360. And so I've been kind of playing with in between, because 375 is like my baking temperature in the oven. My grandmother used to say that you never have to bake anything at anything other than 350. You just adjust the time. And so I sort of go by that, but I bump it up a little bit to 375. So that's kind of my comfortable temperature. I get free. Yeah. And now I've heard that, and I'm trying not to sign up for Grubhub because I have Amazon Prime, but I'm trying to get rid of delivery services. I'm trying to spend less on them because I had the annual membership for Dash Pass. That's how much I liked it. 2 from Okcha, Latafa Banana, and a coffee one from Aroma Concepts. Yes, Penzeys. I love the Penzeys. I love me some delicious Penzeys. Yeah, 375 just works for me. And I'm not a great... That's because I like to cook like food, like savory stuff. I wish that I were better at baking, and I want to try more baking. I think once this show is done, I've been like, I need to say yes to fewer things, so I have more time in the evenings and like on weekends to like get back to things that I wish I could do more of, like reading, doing more editing for YouTube. Does your grandma happen to be the Thanks a Lot Marie calendar lady? No, she is not. She was a fantastic baker. She was so good, but that was her thing, was everything like 350, and then you just figured it out. Like she always had recipes, but she could always just kind of figure it out and like set it to 350. This one takes this amount of time. And so I just kind of do that, especially like I'll make like casseroles and stuff. And I hit 350 or 375, and I just set a timer for an hour, and I check on it at 45 minutes. And for most of like the casseroles and stuff that I do, after an hour, it's ready and it's fine. So I definitely am a fan of that. Oh, so how is everybody else doing? How is everybody else's week going? This week has been, I mentioned at the beginning, for those who weren't here right at the beginning, that I don't talk a lot about where I work, but I work for a big tech company, and you may have read in the news about a big tech company laying off 16,000 people. And so then that's where I work. So I did not get laid off. I still have my job. But we did, out of our 5-person team, we lost 2 people. So and one of them was our manager. So we've had since Wednesday, we've been kind of twisting in the wind. And then today they kind of were like, okay, we figured out who you're going to report to, because we didn't have anybody to report to. We had somebody to ask questions to, but it was like, she was already on the way out. She had already accepted a new role that starts next Monday. And so she was already in the whole like transition out. And then all of a sudden we were left with like out a manager. And so then she's like, okay, you can still reach out to me if you have questions, but we're going to get you a manager by Monday. And so, yeah, I was absolutely very lucky. I know a lot of people who are not, besides the people on my team. I know a lot of people personally from my old site that were virtual. They seem to like really target virtual people. That's my impression that I got, is that they really kind of went after virtual roles. I am virtual, but I'm on a different part of where a lot of that kind of cutting happened. So that was very, very lucky. But yeah, no, it was really, and this one is weird because a lot of times what it is it happens like way, way up the chain. And so it's just a lot of times what they will do is they will just eliminate like whole teams. So they'll just decide like, okay, these teams and these teams, we're just going to shut them down. Anything that we need to keep from that will fold into something else. This one was very different. This one was like every team lost people, it seems, within a certain level. Not like a purge. So they did big layoffs in October. And then this is the second round, because when they announced them in October, they kind of were basically hinting at the idea that they wanted to cut 30,000 jobs total. And in October, they did 14,000. So then, like, we knew one was coming, and we knew that it was going to be about 16,000. And so it was just... See, this is why I don't talk about my work, because I do have to be very clear that this is not like this feeling of the company. This is my impression. This is my feeling of it. Because they were very clear to point out in all the communication that this isn't driven by AI. It's about corporate culture. All I will say about that is that the way that we have been like fire hosed with AI over the last 6 months, and the way like, try this, let's do this, try different tools, build tools, do all this kind of AI, everything was like AI, forget about everything else, AI. So like, it's not attributed to AI. Well, I mean, I can take a 2 and a 2 and get fucking 4, right? Like, I can figure that out on my own. And so I just like, I can go outside and like get wet, and I might not attribute that to the rain, but how the fuck did you get wet? So that's how I feel about it. So that's all. That's my like non-official statement. I'm not speaking in any official capacity, but that's kind of the... So the layoffs are done for now. I mean, I think we live in a world overall where like job security is very different than it used to be even 10, 15 years ago. So I'm always kind of like keeping that in my mind in terms of like, where would I go? But I think since I made it through the 2 rounds, I think that I feel pretty safe with where I'm at for now. Because the role that I'm in is, because I do video production, it's hard to replace us with AI. AI video generation right now is very up and down. It's very hit or miss, and it's more miss than hit. That's why you see a lot of times, if you see these like reels go around, I've gotten to the point where I can spot AI almost immediately, because you'll notice things about like the way that gravity works that aren't quite right. And like, AI is good at generating really short video clips, but once it goes past like 3-4 seconds, that's when like heads spin around, or like someone gets a 6th finger, or like suddenly an arm will just pop out of their shoulder, or weird shit like that. Pretty girl. So I have not, I haven't like aggressively looked for any. I also am of the, I'm also like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And the thing with layoffs, I've been laid off before. I worked for bookstores for a long time. So like, this isn't my first time at the rodeo. Bookstores, if you don't know, haven't been doing well for a couple decades, partially because of where I work now. But so like, I've been perp walked out the door before. And so I just am like, the thing with layoffs is like, if it's you will never know until you are having that conversation. And if it's not you will never know until all the conversations have happened and they've announced it publicly. It's just the way it is. And the reason why they do that is because they don't want to give people, like, they might announce that some are coming, but like individual people, you're never going to know. And that's why, like, and if you read the stories, people talk about, I lost like access to my computer immediately. And it's like, yes, absolutely you did. Because you are probably a wonderful, lovely human being who would never do anything wrong. But it is human nature when we get angry or upset to sometimes not make the best choices. So I am completely understanding of why they like tell people and then immediately restrict their access, is because you don't want somebody being like, oh, lay me off, will you? And then they like go in. So like, I am absolutely, I get it. And I also, the first time that I was laid off, I worked for my campus bookstore for 3 years. I was an assistant textbook manager for like a $4.5 million textbook area. It was a little bit hectic. And I was like the first one laid off. So I was the first one out the door. I was not the last. They had a lot of layoffs that year, but I was the first one. And that was very traumatic for me. And now I've like had a little bit of therapy and a little bit of like all that kind of stuff. And I've figured out it really is not personal. Like I get that it's not, it had nothing to do. It's not like I was fired. There was nothing with my performance. It was like, you know what? You have 2 textbook managers. We've decided you can do it with one. And I was the assistant. So I was the one to go. And they did eventually like re-offer my position. And but they offered it, I was a salaried position. So what they did was they laid me off so that they could rework the position that I was in and make it an hourly position. So that was, and so it was a huge pay cut, and I wasn't even making that much. So let me tell you, I wasn't even making that much. But AI sculpture. I know there's so much, and that's the thing. The banana candy perfume. I do too, but then oh yeah, the banana. I do like the smell of banana. I like that. AI sculpture. Sorry, I get really easily distracted. I also like, I get it because I have some friends in my life, especially people who are artists and do creative things, who are just like rabidly anti-AI, and they don't. And I just feel like we're in this extreme place because the thing I can say is that AI is not going anywhere. It's not going to be this magic bullet that people think it is. And the AI boom that all these big tech companies and all these big finance bros are doing, it is going to explode. It's going to blow up like every other bubble. And there's going to be like, we're going to realize we wasted a whole lot of time and money on things that aren't going to work. And then eventually we'll settle in and figure out the things where it does work, where it is more ethical, all these kinds of things. Right now, they're just trying to use it for everything to try to figure out what works. And like when you're in that environment and you have to use AI, because I'm being told like by leadership that I have to use AI, is like you can't even like talk about it or like even talk about your experience unless you're just like raging and being like burn it all down, because then they'll just be like, you use AI, and it's like, okay, calm down. I was told I have to use AI. So I'm using it to the level that I have to. I'm looking to try to find ways that are not morally compromising. Like I'm not making art. I'm not out here making art. And like all that kind of stuff is that like, I get it. I get people are scared. They're weirded out. AI really is one of those like transformative things. This is not just some new innovation. This is like probably on the level of like, yeah, when the printing press came around, there were a whole lot of people whose jobs it was to like transcribe manuscripts who were probably really pissed and were like, this is the devil. This is all this kind of stuff. Eventually the technology, they figured out how to work it and like people moved on. AI is not going to go anywhere. It is going to continue to transform, but it's not going to be this magic bullet. So we have to kind of ride it out. And I think that I've gone on this rant before. I'm so sorry because I'm sure a lot of you have already heard me go on this rant. I just am so frustrated with it because I have to use it from time to time and I have to like try to figure out ways to incorporate it in my work and all this kind of stuff. But like all these people who want to be mad because somebody downloaded an app to make a profile picture. And it's like that person was never going to pay you to make them a profile picture. Nobody was going to pay you to do that. Like, yes, should big tech companies pay artists to make their art? Absolutely. That's where I think it is absolutely unforgivable. I think that if you are part of like a design team, but I think that there are times where it's like, you know what? If somebody just downloads an app and they're like, it steals art. And it's like, well, you weren't drawing pictures of me. So like, if I wanted to use it to like make a profile picture, like, it's just creating this sort of heightened real, I don't know. I just like, I just get frustrated. I get frustrated with the whole discussion. And I feel like nobody's having like grown-up discussions about it. The people that I know that are pro AI are so just rabid and like, and like all the people who are like, use it now, use it twice, use it 6 times, see if you can use it more. And all the people who hate it are so rabid. I'm like, I feel like I don't even like have the like space to have real conversations about this kind of stuff. And so I get frustrated. Bookbinding jobs. Now there's electronic books. So many. Yeah, that's the thing is like, it keeps changing and it's going to keep alternating, and AI is going to lead to new jobs. Like, it's not right now, people are focused on elimination. So like efficiency and eliminating jobs and things like that. But eventually it's going to, AI is, again, because it's not going to be this magic bullet, we're going to have to find a sweet spot where we figure out what the new jobs are. Because the way it is now, it's going to be a disaster. Because right now what we're doing is we're spending just as much time fixing what AI does than we would have if we had just done it ourselves. And that's the part that is most frustrating for me. As somebody who is an English major, I am constantly being told when I have to write something at work to write it, put it into AI, and have AI write it, give it a prompt. But then what it writes is never perfect. It's never right. It's never what we need. So in the amount of time that so now it's not saving me any time, because in the amount of time that it takes me to put in the prompt and generate something and read it and edit it and put it back in to edit it again and then edit what comes out and do all this kind of stuff, I could have written it and edited it and been done. And I get some people don't have an English background, and for some people writing is difficult, and so having that AI writing assistant, I love that for them. But as an optional thing to help you, I think it's great. But this, you must use it, you must comply, it's so frustrating, because it's like, that's something that I could do myself. Why don't we build an AI thing to do all those fucking spreadsheets that I have to look at? Do the AI to do that. I can write something. That's the creative part that I enjoy. So let me do that part and build an AI to do this bullshit spreadsheet that I don't want to do. But instead, I save all this time doing the writing with AI, and then I have more time to do the spreadsheets. Get the fuck out of here. I just don't want it. I just hate it. Yeah. So I think that what was happening a lot, and there certainly is probably some of that as well, is taking it and either recreating something through AI, not wanting to pay an artist. But I think the biggest argument, and I feel conflicted about this, and that's the thing, is I wish that I had people that I could have grown-up adult conversations with, because with AI, you have to train it things, right? You have to train it on things. You have to feed it images so that it can look at that. And then it's able to create things in that style, right? So then they're saying, well, that's theft, because you're showing it somebody's artwork and their style, and then it's copying that. And some companies did just go really unethical, and they're like, I want that picture, but I don't want to pay for it. So then they would feed the image in and then say, recreate this with different colors or whatever. And so that's absolutely unethical. But when it's just taking, it learns styles from looking at these examples, how is that different than an artist looking at a bunch of pictures and trying to copy them and create them? I do feel like it's different, but I can't explain the difference. And that's the thing that I try to get across to my rabidly anti-AI friends, is I get what you're saying, and I do feel like it's different, but I don't understand how to explain the difference, and I don't know what that difference means in terms of the ethics and the morality, and it's just weird. Some indie cosmetics companies got dragged for that. Ensley Rain, I didn't care so much about their AI art. If somebody's using AI to create artwork, an indie brand, I get it. You want them to use artists and you want them to create stuff. That's never going to be a cancelable thing for me. And if people want to get mad and they want to cause a big thing, I don't care about that. For me, with Ensley Rain, it was the transphobia. That was the part where I was like, okay, you're done. But the AI art, I'm I'm going to side-eye that a little bit. But that to me is not a cancelable offense. Because I think that with a lot of these brands, some people don't have that skill and they don't have the money. I think, now Ensley Rain has been around long enough that I think that they probably could afford to do that. Certain prompts, the elements will be mine. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't. And so I think that it's one of those things where it's where are we losing the actual jobs for people, right? Is that if somebody is using AI to create art when they should be able to do it, and they should have the budget for it, I think that's a problem. But there are times where I'm less concerned. So if anybody remembers that horror movie Late Night with the Devil, with David Dastmalchian, it was really good. It was on Shudder. It was like a Shudder original. Now, if you saw that movie, first of all, you know that they didn't have a very big budget, because if you watch that movie, you know how they always have the like studios at the beginning. It'll be like Universal Pictures, A24, hey Lock Maiden, how's it going? And so it'll have all these little like, it'll say all the studios. That movie had like 9 or 10 producers. So clearly they were cobbling together money from wherever they could get it. And people got all mad. No worries, Locke. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. This was another random one. It wasn't planned. And so people were mad because apparently they used AI to create 2 static images. So basically, if you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, the concept is it's kind of a found footage. And it's this like late night program where the host interviews this girl that claims to be possessed, and eventually she is, and the demon kills everybody. It's this whole thing. But so kind of like with a late night show, they'll be like, now we're going to go to commercial, and they'll put up an image. It's set in the 70s. And so it's this very specific 70s art style with like a Halloween kind of look. And it says, we'll be right back. There were like 2 of those images that they used for AI. And people were like, well, why didn't you hire somebody to make that? Why didn't you hire? They did. There's a whole like visual arts department, and they needed 2 images, and they didn't have somebody. So it's not like there was more budget to then hire somebody else to do yet another thing. So the people that were hired and that did get paid, so like nobody lost a job. If they hadn't used AI, they would have had to find some other way to use it. So nobody lost a job because there was a job that was created and somebody was in that job and they got paid to do it. And they did lots of other things. They just happened to use it for these 2 images. And so like, to me, that's not as much of a concern, because they used it for, I mean, it's literally maybe like 4 seconds total. It's like 2 seconds on each of these images. And so it's just like, I just need the conversations to be more nuanced. Let's see. I'm following behind here. I try to explain to my kids that they need to still fact check everything. Yes, that's the other thing. AI will sometimes just make shit up. They call it like delusions. And so like AI will just, or hallucinations, like AI will just suddenly have a hallucination and will just create information, like create fake studies. Like, it's wild. And so you have to, even if you get the AI to like write something for you, you have to do so much checking and editing anyway that it's like, I could have just done that myself and it would have been faster. Training AI used by using actual pictures is one thing. Training the AI by using actual pictures and then creating something unique is the other thing. And that's the part, that's where I think AI is going to fall apart, the whole like unique thing, because I think you can take that stuff and create something unique that's in the style of something. But what they forget with AI is that AI is never going to be able to create something new. What it can do is it can take the stuff it's been trained on and it can mash it together or create like a new image, but it's not going to create anything. We still need human creativity. And the example that I use, again, I think I've talked about this before. I'm so sorry if you're hearing this for like the 10th time, but it was this TED Talk from this guy who was from the Lucasfilm, I forget, is it Industrial Light and Magic, but he was from this thing, and he like was so proud to show off this video that they made with AI. And they made it and they said, what if there was like a National Geographic documentary on one of these Star Wars planets? And they're like, so we decided to create what kind of aliens, what kind of wild creatures would live on these different worlds. This video that he was so proud to show off was just 2 animals that already existed, just mashed together. So it would be like a gorilla with zebra stripes. It was like a snail that looked like a peacock. So it was like, it can't create anything new. So like Star Wars, where these animals could be anything, they could literally be anything. And this whole video was just 2 earth animals just mushed together. So obviously, like, they were not subtle. It was literally like a snail shell where it's like the pattern of peacock feathers and a gorilla with zebra stripes. I mean, it was pathetic. It was so ridiculous. And I was like, this is what you're excited about. because AI can't create anything. It can create something using the information that it has, but it can't then say, okay, what's the next thing after that? What's the next thing? So if we want design and creativity to stop, then yeah, sure, send it all to AI. Because that's what it can take, is it can take the stuff that already exists and mash it together in different new ways. But it's never going to create anything. Sorry. I have to, yes. Oh, and Alex, I missed the later part. If AI is fed bullcrap, then it will give you bullcrap. And one thing that we say all the time when we're talking about AI in meetings is we have to remind people garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage in, garbage comes out. So like, it's not going to suddenly mix it up. Oh, they love the calendar. They had tears of joy. Oh, I'm so glad, Locke. I'm so happy. I hope you enjoyed the stickers. I sent along the stickers as well. So yeah, it's such a good movie. I never would have thought it had a small budget with them. Yeah, Late Night with the Devil is really well done for such a low budget movie. It really came out well. A medical coder, and they've been saying computers and AI is taking our job for years. Not happening. You have to have a human perspective. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like, even if you could get it to read them, you have to have somebody there to check it and make sure it's interpreting it correctly and that it's not just making it up. And then, so what we end up doing is we become an AI editor. So we just let the AI do the fun, creative part. And then we're just like, oh, dot that I, cross that T. You should have a comma here, bullshit like that. And I'm like, oh God, I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh, good. They love the stickers too. Hallucinations is like AI learning, but it's still putting a bunch of crap together and spitting it out to sound smart. Yeah. And we had something where the person on my team who got laid off, unfortunately, we were in a meeting and he was talking about something that he put in, and he had put in all this information, and then he's like, put this into bullet points. And then one of the bullet points was like, according to research by these names, we find that audience engagement drops off this % at this time if something happens. And it was very specific, and it was like, and so he like, you can, with the prompts, you can kind of, it's like a conversation, so you can refine and refine. And he's like, in bullet point 2, is that accurate? And the AI came back and said, no, it sounded good, and basically said that it made it up. So like, the AI fessed up to it. It was like, no, it seemed like you need a citation there, so we created one. And I was like, you created one? You just created one. Like, it was very clear that it did not find it from somewhere. It was not part of its language set or whatever. It just made it up. It just made it up. Oh, what a world. What a world. What a world. Trying not to order anything besides banana milkshake. Alex, YouTube is starting to backpedal on AI. Yes, the AI slop channels are getting out of hand. And so I think, and especially in the video space, I think people are going to start to walk it back because they are bad. I see those reels all the time. The ones that get me, and you've probably seen them because they are popping up everywhere, where it's like, it looks like a security footage. So it looks like night vision, like a ring cam kind of thing. But it'll be like somebody laying in bed, and all of a sudden you see a deer outside, and the deer like jumps through the window and then like jumps on the bed and jumps on the person and then jumps out the window and then goes. Or like the raccoons, they had all the ones where the raccoons were like digging in Halloween candy, and then the animatronic would go off and they'd fly off in the air. And all those, they're so ridiculous. And it's like, if you watch them and you look at how gravity doesn't work, gravity doesn't work like that. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Oh, yeah. The next generation of academics. It's tough. There are times where I miss being in the academic world, and then there are times where I just don't. There are things that I miss about teaching, but the woman who wrote the play, she also is a lecturer at the school that I went to. And she talks about how now, like, the way the classrooms are, she can't even run a class if she doesn't have her phone with her. Because everything to like connect to the computer in the room, you have to have an app on your phone, and you have to like bring the phone into the room, and you have to use that to unlock it, and it sends you a code, and it's all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I remember when there were books. Like, they don't even have books anymore. Everything is all electronic. So I don't I don't know if they even have the option for books. I mean, I suppose you could just figure out if there's a print version available and buy it, but you have to have the like online version that's in the class. It's worse. Or the cats that destroy the house. Yeah, all of those animal videos where it's so clearly not real, but they just are over and over and over and over. Yeah, I thought the first couple were real, and then I saw more and more of them, and the more that I watched, I was like, oh, this is just made up. Yeah, some exotic animal. There was one where a moose jumped through a window, and there's never any broken glass. So the ones where they jump through a window, there's never any broken glass because it can't do that kind of like fine detail and maintain it. So like if like glass or something that looks like glass falls out, it falls and then disappears. And then the moose like jumped on top of her, and I'm like, meese? A moose weighs like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. If a moose did somehow jump through your little bedroom window and then jump on you on your bed, you would be injured. You wouldn't just be like laying there like, oh, this is weird. What's this moose doing here? Like, yeah, where people are dancing and their feet aren't on the ground. It's so bad. The world we live in. I just want the bubble to pop. I just want the bubble to pop. I want us to get back to I want us to get to the place where we figure out the good things. There's a meme that I saw that just guides every interaction that I have with AI. It's in my head every time I have to talk about AI, every time I have to think about AI. And it's basically like someone who said, I wanted automation to do the dishes and wash the clothes so that I had more time to make art. I never wanted automation to make art, so I had more time to wash clothes and wash the dishes. And that is like, for me, that's the guiding principle of AI, is that I don't want it to do the creative part. I want to do the creative part. And that's the part that I'm good at. And that's the part that AI is not good at. You know, it's good for, if it's something where it's a skill that you lack, there is some facility in creating something on the cheap if you need to. But like for any of these big companies where they can afford to hire artists and hire designers and hire all these different people, get creatives to do the creative work and then get AI to balance the spreadsheets and to like do the reporting. God, the reporting that I have to do in my job is so tedious. Every time I publish videos, and I try to explain this to like even people that aren't on our team that are like in the org, where they sometimes are like, why do things take so long? And I'm like, let me tell you, when I publish videos, I need to use 6 different programs or platforms in order to publish videos. I have to go to Vimeo, which is our video platform. I have to upload the video and I have to edit the captions because the AI captions are garbage. And so I have to edit the captions. Then I have to go to Workfront. Adobe Workfront is our system that we use. So I have to go to Workfront and I have to fill out all the stuff to make sure that that's complete. Then I have to go to Asana, which is a different like program management software. That's for stuff that we use internally. So Workfront is for anything that our like customers can see. So the people within the org who request videos, they can see that. Asana is internal to us. So then I have to go to Asana and fill that out. Then I have to go to WorkDocs, which is a storage, like a file storage thing. And I have to like upload my working files and my final copy and all that kind of stuff. Then I have to go to Outlook, and well, I did. Now my manager's been laid off, and I would have to send a publication email to my manager through Outlook. And then I would have to go to Word, and I would have to fill out our like monthly reporting document with all the information for that project. So there's 6 different programs or platforms that I have to use for every single video project where I publish a video. It takes a minimum of an hour and a half to 2 hours if it's like 1 or 2 videos. If it's a project where we have 10 videos, I'm spending half a day doing those 6 things. I mean, it's just like, and so get AI to do all that shit. Like that's the kind of shit that I'm so bored. Like just get AI to do that so that I can do the fun editing stuff like that. Ugh. If a moose was in your house, the house would be annihilated. Exactly. Like there's nothing hurt except the window, and they just go right in and right out. The ghost ones, yeah. I don't know where the line is or should be. I had a friend who was quadriplegic, and she could finally see what she. Yeah, And I know lots of people who are artists who use like, even if it's not AI, although now I think the line is blended, they use like electronic drawing things. And so it's still their art, but they use electronic tools that will create shapes for them and create different things. And they can just go like that and it colors in a box. And so I'm like, okay, where's that line? Where's that line between like what are you creating, what the computer is creating? Like it's still them. And I also know people who like, my friend who gets really upset about this, she also does like artwork where she takes like images and stills from horror movies and recreates them. So I'm like, well, that you're recreating something that you're not necessarily licensing. So I don't have the answers. I'm not saying this like I have the answers because I don't have no answers, especially after this week. I have no answers. I have none. In another life, I was supposed to have been a dancer. It just can't be a matter of that's not fair, right? I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing is because some people like, if they don't have the talent, like should they be able to make a living as an artist if they have to have AI make all the art? I don't think so. But where is the line? Exactly. See, CJ, these are the kind of conversations I want to be having. An AI image contest where someone entered their legit art and got first place. Oh no. Oh, that's good, but so ironic and dark. Yeah, I do too. That's what I miss about. I don't know if anybody ever used to watch. So Christine and Ben, who have Hollow Taco, she was the nail polish channel, Simply Nailogical, and then she has Hollow Taco. They did a podcast for a while, and I don't like video podcasts. I don't watch them very often, but they would do clips. And what I loved about watching Christine and Ben on these clips is that they would talk about important things that were going on in the world or news or events or different topics. And they're Canadian and level-headed, and they're so thoughtful. And just listening to them discuss those things was so calming because we live in a world of infotainment where everybody's trying to out clickbait each other, even news channels. And so like to hear these like soft spoken Canadian people who are intelligent and calm just talk about, well, is this ethical? I don't know. Well, I think there's this. Well, I didn't consider this. And it was so relaxing. And I don't think they do that podcast anymore. If they do, maybe they don't do clips anymore, or maybe the clips are just like have fallen out of my algorithm and I don't go look for them. Because I miss those. You have to go to bed. Alex, have a lovely night. Thank you for stopping by. You were the first one in tonight. So thank you. Welcome. Have a good night. Simply Nailogical. I loved her channel. I just thought she was kooky and fun. And honestly, I think that I would guess they're still out there. I forget what their the Simply podcast or something. I don't know. But if you look up, if you can find clips of their podcast, just listening to them was so calming because they're just smart people and they're level-headed and they're thoughtful. And they don't just go in with like clickbaity bullshit and just try to like lure people in and then get to the real information. It's just real information all the time. I loved it. I have my big old jug of Snapple tea. This Snapple Zero Sugar Peach Tea. Obsessed. Obsessed. Oh, well, thank you everybody for popping by. I hope you enjoyed this little mini haul. I definitely needed to shop some feelings this week. I am hoping that I will have some sort of answer about my debit card and my stolen money soon. I still have a job, so that's good. I'm very glad that this fucking week is over because it was putting me through it. And next week, we're going to start doing some behind the scenes stuff with my show at the theater, the Nut Lab. So look for some of that. You'll get to meet some of the actors. We have 9 fantastic actors, and they're doing such a great job, and they're working so hard. And I'm super excited. I'm going to show you some of the likes, the set and everything, and props, and we have a disco ball on a fishing pole. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're being goofy with it. So I hope everybody is doing well. Let's see if I can remember my outro. Pretty girl. Oh yeah, replay crew, you rock. Don't forget to leave a comment below, or if you're here live, I appreciate all of you. I would love it if you would consider stopping by once this becomes a video. Feed the algorithm, feed me Seymour, my little Audrey 2 up there. And so definitely come back and leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. We love to feed the algorithm. And while you're down there, don't forget that you can give me that thumbs up to tell me that you appreciated this video. Or if you are like, girl, the world is on fire, you don't have to complain about your life. You know, you still have a job. So what are you complaining about? I get it. I understand. And you know what? I'll take it. It's all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch. And neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified every time I do an upload. I try really hard to make sure I have at least one video or live per week. And sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, AI-rific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, just pretend it's there, The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. I love and appreciate all of you. Let me see if we've got any other. Hope the weekend is better. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's I will survive. It's just money. It's just, you know, it's just a job. It's not the things that are like in my heart, wherever my heart is located, probably over here. So it's just, you know, it's the way of the world, capitalism, baby. And so everything will be fine. Everything will work out. We got to just keep making art and keep being creative and supporting each other and coming together in communities like this. I appreciate you all so much for just like popping on and being part of this conversation and chatting. I really do love and appreciate all of you for that and for spending time with me. And until I see you again, bye. All right. Now, how do I turn this off? There we go. Okay. Bye.